Hello YouTube, this is MTGeezers and we are bringing you the fourth part of our complete set review, and this time we're going to look over all of the red cards from the latest set, Fate Reforged. So we're starting off straight away with Alicia, who smiles at death. So for 2 generic and 1 red, you're getting a 3/2 with first strike, and whenever it attacks you may pay 2 white or black mana, and if you do you can return a creature card with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. I really like this card in Rabble Red aggro decks. There are a lot of them floating around the format at the moment, and being able to attack with Alicia, pay 2 mana and return a Goblin Rabble Master or something onto the battlefield tapped and attacking is absolutely insane. So I really like this card, and I think it will see a lot of play in Standard. Play in Sealed will definitely be seen. It's a really sweet card. Arc Bond is 3 mana for an instant speed, choose target creature. Whenever that creature is dealt damage this turn, it deals that much damage to each other creature and each player. This card is going to be really fun to play at the pre-release. I think it's going to be really cool just to see the look on your opponent's face when they take a load and all their creatures take a load. And I think it will definitely be played in Standard as well. It's a really solid card. Next we have Bathe in Dragonfire, which is 3 mana for a sorcery speed, deals 4 damage to target creature. If this card was 4 damage to target player or target creature and player, I could see some real play for it in Standard and lots of other formats. But obviously this is just going to probably be played in Sealed and over the pre-release weekend and in Draft and things like that. Bloodfire Enforces is 4 for a 5/2. It has first strike and trample as long as an instant card and a sorcery card are in your graveyard. 4 for a 5/2 is okay, however the first strike is definitely needed to make it that much better, and then as soon as you have an instant sorcery card in your graveyard, this card is so overpowered. I can see this being played in Standard, definitely in the Jeskai burn decks, and most probably everyone who opens these at your pre-release will be playing them, because being able to have a 5/2 with trample and first strike for just 4 mana is absolutely bonkers. Break Through the Line is 2 mana for enchantment, and if you pay 1 red, target creature with power 2 or less gains haste until the end of turn, and can't be blocked this turn. Again, I can see this being played in Rabble Red. Goblin Rabble Master not being able to be blocked would be really sweet. So obviously for just 1 red mana that could be done. It works really well with a lot of the cards in the Rabble Red strategy at the moment, and I can also be seeing it played a lot at the pre-release and in Draft. Collateral Damage is 1 red instant speed. As an additional cost to it, sacrifice a creature and it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. This is a really solid card, especially in token strategies like Mardu or Jeskai tokens. Sacrificing one of your 1/1s and then they take 3 to the face at instant speed is really sweet. Possible play in the Standard burn decks as well. Defiant Ogre is 6 mana for a 3/5, and when it enters you can put a 1/1 on it, making it a 4/6, or destroy target artifact. It's going to be really good over the pre-release weekend. Having a 4/6 for 6 mana is actually quite decent in Sealed. Will it be played other formats? Probably not. Playability wise, I'd probably run 2 of them in my Sealed deck. They're quite good, but I wouldn't go for a full playset if I was lucky enough to open them. Dragon Rage is 3 mana, instant speed. Add 1 red to your mana pool for each attacking creature you control. Until end of turn, attacking creatures you control gain 1 red. This creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Now I really like this card because this is absolutely bonkers. If you go and swing in with a load of tokens, then you get 1 red for each token you swing for, and then you can pay all that mana and use it all to buff your creatures up. Or what you can do is swing in with loads of your creatures, save that mana, and actually spend it on something else, because you can spend that on something crazy, and that's going to be absolutely insane. And I really want to play Rabble Red now because it looks really good fun, and this card is so exciting. Fierce Invocation is 5 mana for a sorcery speed. Manifest the top card of your library and put 2/1/1 counters on it. There's a green card that does this for 2 mana without the 2/1/1s, and I just think that's quite a lot better. I don't really even see play for this in your pre-release. I mean, maybe, but it would be a push. Flame Rush Rider is 5 mana for a 3/3. When it attacks, put a token onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that's a copy of another target's attacking creature, and exile the token at the end of combat. I actually quite like this card. Again, I'm going to use the example of Goblin Rabble Master because he's just such a bomb in Standard at the moment. If you went and copied the Goblin Rabble Master, swung with them both, you'd also get another Goblin, I believe, and then you get to keep that token and all sorts of cool things happen. I might be wrong about that because obviously declare attacker's step, but nevertheless, I love this card. It's really sweet. Pre-release playability is yes. Draft playability, yes. Standard is definitely a possibility. Flamewake Phoenix. Now this is one of the greatest cards I have seen in the entire set. For 3 mana you're getting a 2/2 with flying and haste, which is pretty good by itself. That's a Chandra's Phoenix right there. And it attacks each turn if able. However, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a creature of power 4 or greater, you may pay a red, and if you do, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. I really like this. It's going to see so much play if you open them in draft and at your pre-release. Definitely play this. And it also works quite well in standard with cards such as Butcher of the Horde, because every turn you're just fueling that Butcher of the Horde. You can sacrifice it, give your Butcher of the Horde lifelink or whatever, and it's a really sweet synergy. Friendly Fire is 4 mana instant speed. Target creature's controller reveals a card at random for his or her hand, and it deals damage equal to that creature and that player equal to the revealed card's converted mana cost. I can see a lot of play for this card. In draft, I think it will be, and in sealed formats, sorry, I think it will be quite good, because the curve in sealed normally is around the 5 area, so 4 mana to 5 damage instant speed's pretty good. In standard, however, I can see quite a bit of potential for this, especially if you're playing decks like Blue-Black Devotion, because they have cards such as Dig Through Time, which obviously cost 8 mana, and Treasure Cruise, which cost 8 mana or 7 mana, and they have some really high-end mana cost cards, so I can see a lot of potential for it there. Next, we've got Goblin Heel Cutter, 4 mana for a 3/2, and whenever it attacks, type creature can't block this turn, and it's also got Dash. Really good in your pre-release. I definitely play these. I love the mechanic Dash. It's starting to look like a really sweet mechanic. Obviously, only playtesting will see how good it is, but from what I've seen of it so far, it is really good. We've then got a vanilla text creature, Gore Swine, 4/1 for 3 mana. Again, 4 attack is really sweet in pre-release, and don't be put off by this card just for its low toughness. Definitely play as many of these as you can, because these things can take out dragons. Humble Deflector is 2 mana for a 2/1. Tap it, draw 2 cards, and then an opponent gains control of it. I don't know what to say about this card. I think in Commander and EDH it's going to be really good fun, because you can obviously tap it, draw 2 cards, give it to your friend. They'll tap it, draw 2 cards, give it back to you. You'll tap it, and you can keep going backwards and forwards, drawing 2 cards. However, at your pre-release, it's a 2/1 for 2, which is good. You get to draw 2 cards. If you then have a way of killing it, that's absolutely brilliant, because your opponent can't draw them. But otherwise, it's just going to be a back and forth game of you each draw cards. Maybe if you're playing a really heavy aggro deck with lots of cheap creatures, it'll work well, but we'll have to wait and see. Hungering Yeti is 5 mana for a 4/4, and as long as you control a green or blue permanent, you may cast it as though it had flash. Really like this card. Definite play in the pre-release weekend. Play them if you open them, please. Lightning Shrieker is a really sweet dragon, which has absolutely blown the minds of everyone who plays the Pauper format. It's 5 mana for a 5/5 with flying, trample, and haste, and at the beginning of your end step, you shuffle it back into your library. So for those of you who don't know, Pauper is a format where you create a deck using only commons, and this is one of the best commons I have ever seen, without a doubt. Definitely play it in the pre-release. I mean, you're probably going to be opening a fair few of them, because they are just a common, especially if you pick for your guild pack, or Khan pack, sorry, a colour with red in, such as Mardu or Jeskai. But it's just such a great card, and being able to shuffle it back into your library at the beginning of your end step is really sweet as well. Definitely run them. Mardu Rune Mark is 3 mana, enchant creature gets +2/+2, and it has first strike as long as you control a white or black permanent. These are alright, I think, these enchantment auras. I'd maybe play 1 or 2. They're alright. Don't play more than 2 though. Mardu Scout is 2 mana for a 3/1 with dash for 2. Really solid card. Obviously, 3 attack is really sweet for just 2 mana, so I really like him, and definitely play him as well. Mob Rule is 6 mana, sorcery speed, choose 1. Gain control of all creatures with power 4 or greater until end of turn, untap them and they gain haste. Or gain control of all creatures with power 3 or less until end of turn, untap them and they gain haste. This card is a finisher of if I have ever seen one for pretty much every format. In standard, this is going to be great if you're playing someone who's just got out there Elspeth and have got about 9 tokens down, or if you're playing someone who's playing Teamer and they've got loads of big threats down. And the same way in draft and sealed, this is going to be bonkers, because just depending on what your opponent's playing, you can take different stuff, and I really like this card. It's really sweet. Next, we have Outpost Siege, which is 4 mana, and when it enters battlefield, choose Khans or Dragons. Khans, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library, and until end of turn, you may play it, giving you a little bit of card advantage, which is actually pretty sweet. And Dragons, when a creature you control leaves the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to the type creature or player. The thing I like about this is it's quite versatile. All the sieges are very versatile, and it's just a genuinely value card. You know, it's really good. You can either be able to play stuff from the top of your library until end of turn, which is good. I like that ability. Or whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, your opponent takes one, which works well in burn strategies and token strategies, especially because you're gonna have a lot of cards coming in and out of the battlefield. Pyrotechnics is 5 mana and it deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and all players. I think this is really sweet. It's kind of like a lot of those burn spells like Art Lightning we've seen recently. 4 damage for 5 mana, it's pretty good. Definitely play these at your pre-release because they are quite versatile. Rage Form is 4 mana, enters the battlefield, becomes an aura with enchant creature, and then you manifest the top card of your library. So this is really sweet. Really like this card, and I definitely think it should be played if you open one at your pre-release. Will it be played in standard? I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. The first mythic I believe that we've seen now for red is Shaman of the Great Hunt, which is 4 for a 4/2 with haste. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you put a 1/1 counter on it. It also has Ferocious. If you pay 4, you can draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. This is such a sweet creature. You're getting a 4/2 with haste for 4 mana. Really crazy. Whenever a creature you control attacks, which includes this Shaman of the Great Hunt, so whenever anything you control attacks, you get to put a 1/1 on it, which is so crazy in token strategies, because you can at some points have like 10 attackers, and then that's 20 damage instead of 10. It's crazy. And then you can start drawing cards when all of your tokens have got big enough. Really like it. Possible play in Modern, possible play in Standard. Definitely play it in every sealed format if you open it. It's absolutely crazy, and I love this card. Shockmaw Dragon is 6 for a 4/4 with flying, and when it deals combat damage to a player, it deals 1 damage to each creature that player controls. A really sweet 4/4 bodied flyer, the dragon for red. Really nice, play it in your pre-release. Smouldering Efreet is 2 for a 2/2, and when it dies, it deals 2 damage to you. Don't play this in your pre-release. Really bad card. 2 for a 2/2, it's okay. I mean, you might manage to squeeze one of them in your pre-release, but then when it dies dealing 2 damage to you, I just don't really understand. It's not even playable at your pre-release. It's quite bad. Team of Battle Rage is 2 mana. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. With Ferocious, that creature also gains trample if you control a creature of power 4 or greater. Really like this card. You can be swinging at your opponent for 5 damage or whatever, or 4 damage with one of your dragons. Suddenly, it gains double strike and trample for just 2 mana instant speed. That's really going to turn the game around. They're going to have to do something about that. Otherwise, they're going to be taking quite a lot of damage. Vault Breaker is 4 for a 4/2. Whenever it attacks, you may discard a card, and if you do, draw a card. With dash for 3, it's an alright card. 4 power and 2 toughness. It's decent. And finally, the last card for red is Wild Slash for 1 red. Instant speed. If you control a creature power 4 or greater, damage can't be prevented this turn. It deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So that wraps up our episode for today. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, please just take a quick moment to crush that subscribe button. Like this video, share it, whatever you're watching us on, do what you gotta do. Thank you for watching and goodbye.